I didn't run to Israel. I more like limped. And I had a lot of gnashing of teeth before I got on the airplane. But that was me. We had a great time. Weather was pretty much like we expected. Very windy, very rainy, very cold. Awesome weather to prune in if you guys have liked that kind of stuff. But I wanted to ask something real quick here in the audience before we got started. How many in here are under 18 and would like to go prune, harvest, plant? Is there any? There's one. That's it?
Two.
There's two.
There's three.
Four.
Four, five.
6, 7, 8.
All right.
9. Guys, there are farmers out there pleading, begging for that prophecy to be filled. Right now, I think they're up to 14 farms, and there's probably 60 behind it that are begging. They don't have the help. They can't do it. So I wanted to make sure that I mentioned that maybe somebody that can't go or doesn't really want to go, maybe you can sponsor somebody to go. But that's my feeling on it. But
Same here.
yeah, same here. Anyway, we're supposed to have a slideshow going.
There we go.
Here it is. And I guess we can do one of two things. We can tell about our experiences, or we can just talk about the pictures. What do you think?
Let's talk about experience and the pictures at the same time.
All right. Well, here's the High Vale campground. Here's just a quick shot.
Tight quarters.
Since the early mid 2000s, so it's been there for quite a while. They've been there, I think, 2006 or something like that. Am I right, Libby? 2006 now. Okay, all right. Yeah, they didn't have that spot yet, but it wasn't too far after that. This is just our room. We got, because I had some pool there. They gave us a double room. That's the only reason we got it. All right, here's our second night there. The wind had calmed down quite a bit. It had, really. It's probably only in its 50s right about now. It's about 40 degrees and very, very cold. You want to talk about anything, Brian? Here.
It was really wet also.
My first thing he said to Scotty was, Scotty, what did you get me into? It's cold here. The next day we started pruning. Should be coming up in a minute. There we go. Well, these
are actually trees that Chris and I had planted back in June of last year. So I wanted to see, but they have flower buds on them, and you can actually see the water catcher that Israel has. Somebody in Israel has created this thing, and what they do is it catches the dew, and it kind of balls up and it runs down and funnels into the plant. So I thought that was amazing.
We started the morning out at 05 in the morning, every morning for praise and worship. It's great.
5 o'clock in the morning, if you've never heard men hooping and a hollering and praising, you've never heard anything.
Now, the worship in person was great, but the sound quality, not as good.
This is us getting ready to go out for our first day of pruning. Well, okay, backwards, but it's okay.
That's all right.
Yeah. We'll still talk about the pruning. That was, Brian, go ahead. You took that picture.
Yeah, it was in Jerusalem. It was outside of the city of David. I'm not quite sure what the thing was, but you can see the dome there in the background, the Ionic dome. I always take a picture with it, with my finger in the thing, but I didn't this time. There's my man, Charles. Now, Charles has been there like 14 times, but he has never been there believing. So this was totally different. You want to tell anybody about that?
Yeah, I've been there a lot. He's right, and this is the first time I went spiritually, and it was a great feeling, even to walk right there where Jesus walked. It was like breathtaking, and you'll think about it. It changes your life, and you look at life different when you walk there. It was just, I was telling Brian, I was like, whoa, take a picture. So we did that. We struggled walking up there, a lot of rocks, so it was kind of hard to get there. And they weren't slowing down for me, so I had to keep going as fast as possible. But it was a great feeling up there.
They're like Beit Tehila, they wait for no man.
One of my main things going there, I was telling Angela, my wife, that I wanted to put the prayer in the wall. I wanted to pray for others. So I had my family and friends, people in the church here, give me notes to put in the wall. And I put one in there for the church, our church, and I prayed for everyone. And it was a great feeling going to the wall to pray for each and every one of you guys. Even if you guys didn't give me one, I prayed for you. It was in my heart to do that. Sunrise and sunsets were beautiful over there.
When I was little, my grandmother used to read me stories out of the Bible, and as I'm older now, you can kind of really see, all the stories that she used to tell me. I could put her voice with the, with the words and the pictures, and now it all comes to life. Now you can see it, you can feel it.
Oh, well. What's that, Scotty?
That's L'Amour Winery. They actually went there. Me and Charles stayed back.
Hard worker.
Yeah. This is us out in the fields. We'll talk about the Merlot pruning knot that you get in your arm. Charles finally figured out what that was. Now, the pastor warned him. He did warn him.
Hold on for a minute.
I'm telling you.
All right, so it was a Monday, and I guess I was interrupting Angela as she was having Monday service here, and I was telling her we're having a great time, and then pastor comes on and says, you got to make sure you have your pruning hand ready. And I'm like, what is he talking about, pruning hand? The next day, I guess I went out there. We're doing the Merlots, the really thick vines. And I looked at Scotty. I said, okay, we can do this. And, oh, Lord, halfway through that first vine, my forearm locked up on me. I was, because you're constantly going like that, and it just locked up. And I was like, oh, Scotty, what happened? And then the pastor was right. So Scotty, you're right, Pastor Nick.
Scotty, I can't move my arm.
Huh? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Merlot also hurt, or Cabernet.
I think he said the Merlot hurt as well. Anyway, over the years, as the vine gets older, as you're pruning it, every time you prune it, you scab it, okay, and it'll actually grow a knot. And that knot becomes very fibrous, and it's almost like coming up here and cutting a plank off his board. I mean, it's extremely difficult to do. So as it gets older, it gets harder and harder to do. So that's one of the things that I think he's talking about, and that's what he's talking about. As you're trying to go through these things, your arms are and there's thousands of them, thousands upon thousands upon thousands of them. For hours, you're sitting there doing this. Every time you grab, you're looking at one going, hey, you want to do this one? I don't want to do this. You do this one.
The fun part about the pruning for me was Brian. We started off the first time. And Brian went through and cut all the vines were about this tall from my knee to here. So Brian went in there and helped us out and just started snapping them all off. And then me and Scotty came in and started pruning. But the first time I touched one of the vines and cut it, I was like, I asked the Lord, hey, I'm nervous about cutting these because Wilder, what's his name? Waller, he was really specific, Nate. Like, you got to make sure you cut this right here, this right there, right above the little bud right there. If you don't, you're going to lose it. So I was like, okay, I'm real nervous about it. So I prayed about it, and then it's like, pruning was my heart. I pruned some of my heart. And I was sitting there thinking, what all do I got to do in my own heart to prune my own heart? And I know I'm kind of a mean person sometimes, and I have to work on that. I'm being honest with you. I have to work on my own self also, but it was, the heart, and there I am right there pruning. So it was a great feeling once I got the first couple done.
Pruning is it's very personal. You're out there. I mean, yes, you have other guys around you, but there's not a lot of gabber going on. You're pretty much by yourself. You're thinking, what do I have to do? What can I do to be better? And so, I mean, every time you take a whack, you say, okay, yeah, I should probably stop that, or, so you can really get in pretty deep. Plus, the area that you're in, 90% of the Bible happened there.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, the footsteps, the people that have walked before you, the patriarchs of so many else's families. One of the growers, we call him Near, up there, he was the one that gave Highvale their start. He gets very nervous when guys come and prune his things too, obviously. I mean, you get City Slicker come up there and he start whacking on his bush. There ain't nothing left, So he's out there, oh, Shim, please, guys, don't cut that one, And we were actually cutting 4-year-old vines, and they would mark those with a blue ribbon. They also had GPS on these things, so they knew everywhere in their fields where these 4-year-old vines were, and everybody knows the 4-year with the fruit. You can actually take it to the temple, and they can offer it as a sacrifice. And if they get driving down the road and an accident or something breaks down, they have to give that away. They have to give it to the poor. They have to give it to the needy. It's very special fruit to them. So I'm assuming he's making some very special wine out of that. So he was wanting extra nodules on there to pull off more grapes. We know when you have too many on there at one point in time, the sun doesn't come down and dry out the plants, and you get powdery mildew and all this other stuff. So but he's thinking, if you could give me 10 buds, I'll get 10 sets of fruit. Where we're like, not good.
He also kept saying, "Oh no, you're feeding my children," and it was so funny. Yeah.
He said that a few times. My kids are not going to eat. You cut that. Don't cut that. But
You're deciding how much my children get to eat.
We had a blast. Very, very enlightening. Very experiencing. In that mess somewhere is Brian getting rolled up. They call it initiation. So if you youngers go over there and to do the pruning, you're going to be asked to do this, and they're pretty serious about it. They're going to wrap you up, and you're going to look like a bundle of twigs.
Yeah, they asked me Mr. Charles, are you going to lay down? No. Well, you have to. No. I couldn't even get down that far, but yeah, they was rolling up the new guys, and they kept rolling them up. It was fun watching them do it. Yeah.
A little bit of advice. If any of you youngins out there ever go and get rolled, I will tell you, make them roll it fast, because the slower they roll it, the tighter it is, and you can't get out if it's tight. And so it's a little bit awkward just sitting there. Help. I need help. Help.
Tell them about the lizard.
Here's a little lizard that Brian almost cut in half. So if you look at his face, everybody's face, he got real nervous. So he stuck his fingers in his mouth like he was clipping his fingernails. And he figured out we wasn't going to hurt him, and he was okay. But that was what, the third day? I think it was the third day before we left. But it was really cool to watch him because you couldn't see him. We're just pruning a section of. I think there were Merlots, but I'm not real sure. And he just happened to be there, and he was like, it was a Cabernet, and Brian was like, I almost cut him in half. But yeah, he was really cool, and it was great to see life out there. We've seen prongs. Everybody know what prongs are? It's a type of deer. They have the horns that come straight up. The dog chased him out of the bushes, but you don't see a lot out there. So it's really good to see nature and life springing up there. I guess it's 2,000 years of death. Now stuff's starting to show up. So it was good to see.
There goes Scotty One of the guys came through and asked, "Hey, Mr. Waller, you got someone that can do some roofing?" And Scotty. So that was Scotty. That's what he's doing. He's doing the roofing of one of the guys' houses. The winds blew it off the day, that wind day, and Scotty fixed it up really nice. So, you know.
This is Masada. I'm sure some of y'all have been to Masada. That's a long walk. I mean, Chuck wasn't going to walk it. We didn't do no walking. Now, the boy walked it in long johns.
Yeah.
It was painful. I wore a long sleeve shirt underneath my T-shirt, and I had to pee halfway up.
That's at the top of the mountain. It was good to see the flag there. Once me and Scotty got up there, it was like, there, looked down, we seen Brian. There's Brian way down there. We're up there just sitting back, drinking some water. And we took the picture over there once Brian got up, you know, with the flag flying. There's that part right there. I was talking to one of the tour guides. She was kind of mean to me, but I was asking her, "Hey, what is this?" She says, "You don't know? This is where Jesus walked in." I was like, "Okay." And if you look back at it, maybe it could be where he walked in and then walked out. I don't know, because she was like kind of pushy, and she didn't really want to tell me everything I had to know. So I didn't know, so I had to go by what she's saying. So I'm telling you what she said to me. And I was kind of surprised, and Scotty took that picture. The wind was really blowing, so we got good flag pictures. Yeah.
There's the Limpin' Brothers. Sodom and Gomorrah. What a place.
That's where they got the salt rock.
Yeah,
right?
we ended up getting some sulfur from there.
Sulfur, yeah.
The batch elders told me that they had it tested, and it is the most purest form of sulfur that they can find. So, just a little little tidbit. But yeah, there we are with our group. We went there. We didn't stay there very long, maybe about 45 minutes. Let the guys, they were running all around. Here in America, you can't do that. If it's a holy site, or if it's a site in general, no, you stay off of it. But there, they encourage it. Get up there and get you some stuff. You know, if you find something on the ground, take it home with you. Chuck, did you fall down the hill when you took that picture?
I probably did. You didn't help me up. Oh, that's another picture sideways. Oh, we did that too.
Chuck, were you laying down when you took that one?
I was probably sleeping.
Oh, this is a textile. We went on a trip to Israel's being sponsored, or excuse me, IFL's being sponsored by Israel State, the state of Israel, and they provide them a tour bus with bulletproof windows, bomb-proof, a guide, a lunch, and then they take them somewhere. So it was really cool to see. Now, a lot of this stuff you'll see in Dollar Store, Dollar Tree, a lot of these products.
Dollar General?
Yep.
Dollar
They
General.
still buy from them. Now, this is in the West Bank, quote unquote. So a lot of people are boycotting this, but America doesn't. Here it is.
You'll see it in a lot of the stores, the secondhand stores. You'll see them in there, and it was nice to see what they're doing, and we're supporting them. I wasn't asleep. I don't think so.
He looks like he was sleeping.
No, I wasn't sleeping.
All right.
Yeah, I was clapping, I think.
Or sideways.
All right. It was sideways.
Brian, you got something to say you want to say? There we are at Shabbat, I think.
Yeah.
Yep. That's
let's-
our second Shabbat, wasn't
Which
it?
one is that? That's Luke, right?
No, it's Jake.
That's Jacob.
Jacob.
Jacob's one of the young men that are there. When we got there, they were already there ahead of us. And what their do is they're there from the time it starts to the time it ends for pruning. So they help us out because they've been there over and over again, and to help sponsor them, because they go there on the wind. They're 17, 18, 19-year-old kids, and they're a blessing to have. You know, I'm looking at them like, well, I can learn something from you more than you can learn from me being older. I can learn from you being younger. So that's what, you know, a lot of the young guys were there doing.
That's a long time. They're there for 9 weeks. Like, it's like 2.5 months. That's a long time.
Let's get to some more stuff that we have done with the Shabbat. And someone heard someone say something about the IDF soldiers there. They were really nice to us, you know. Well, they were nice to Scotty and Brian. Me, they pointing a gun at me. I was like, wait a minute. I haven't said a word. I didn't do anything. And she was like, she came out running around, and she just slung her gun there and pointed at me. Scotty looked at me like, hey, don't say nothing. I said, no. And I pushed her gun away from me. But it was, there were wonderful people there. And, you know, sadly, the things that happened there, but they truly have a good heart.
The first night we were there, they did a military drill. And so, like, everyone was freaking out through the camp. And Nate does security, so, like, they normally alert him when that stuff happens. But they didn't. So there was, like, a bunch of people running around with, like, spotlights. And it was funny. Like 2 or 3 in the morning.
Which we were up every morning at 12 o'clock. I don't know what happened. We would go to bed at 8:30. I would call and say, hey, we're going to bed at 8:30, and 12 o'clock comes around, me and Scotty up there. Want to play some cards, man? We need to be asleep. And then we turn around and wake up at 4 o'clock. Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
I slept through.
I had to throw in the fish and chips. Our plane went all over the place. We went to Sweden, Israel, London, and then back to America. So, but I had to throw in the fish and chips. Oh, man, that's pretty good.
But overall, for the young men, young ladies, or everyone, going over there is a breathtaking, a life changer. I want all of us to go. You know, it's part of your heart. You know, we pray to God all the time that everyone's healthy over there, and it's just a great feeling.
Yeah. Me and Charles were actually speaking. It was funny because we were both thinking the same thing about how to help, because we had both given money to, you know, one of the guys over there, you know, just to help him out. Me and Chris had you know, already talked about it, but you know, Charles just felt led to do it. But, you know, a lot of these kids really want to do these things. You know, they got this gift, they got this heart, they want to serve, they want to do something. If you see somebody wants to go, help them out, sponsor them.
So with me and Scotty came up, we was over there one night, and we were sitting there, you know, together. We came with the same thing. It was crazy. We want to sponsor a young gentleman. We don't know who yet, but we're going to sponsor one young man from our church next year to go with us. It's a life changer for them.
You boys and girls be good now. Well, we appreciate the time. Thank you all for letting us be up here.